Hi everyone. Namaskaram. Hi Tuheena.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, great.
Namaskaram everyone.
Namaskaram.
So I'll just give a minute for more
Okay,
people to join and then we'll begin.
definitely.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. This is a very, very important aspect of my life that I think both our lives, it has played a
Hmm.
very important role. So it holds a very special place in my heart. So I'm actually quite excited to share the journey that we've had together.
Thank you, Tuheena. Okay, you're looking so beautiful by the way.
Oh,
In real
thank
life.
you. You too.
Okay, great. So we'll begin. So, Namaskaram, everyone. Namaskaram and good evening. And thank you for joining us. It's been a few weeks, I've been making some videos on Instagram, and in some of the videos, I talked about my experience of the Hatha Yoga Teachers Training program. And as a result of that, I've got several questions. A lot of people write in asking about the program, asking about various aspects of the training, how to decide if it's the right sort of path for them in that sense, and some practical aspects as well. So, a lot of people have been messaging with questions. And I try to respond to them as much as possible on text, but I figured that having a chat with Hatha Yoga teachers would probably be the best way to get your questions answered. Also, listening to other Hatha Yoga teachers talk about their journey, talk about their experience, and how the teachers training program has been for them, how has life been after the program, whether it's the experience of teaching, whether it's sustainable, how fulfilling it is, and sort of hearing it from them would also help you get some clarity around this if you are thinking about taking this path up. So before I begin, I'll introduce our guest, Tuheena, today. A lot of you would have already seen the sessions that Tuheena and I did where we were discussing various aspects of yogic diet. So Tuheena is an ISHA Hatha Yoga teacher. We're both from the same batch and we were also roommates during the training. So we're both from the 2017 batch of ISHA Teachers Training. Tuheena, before this, was working in Bombay as a cinematographer, and she's very, very talented. She also sings and plays the guitar very beautifully. So she's very talented and absolutely lovely human being. Throughout the training, she was a major source of inspiration for me because I saw her so strong in her dedication and devotion towards the program and towards giving it not just her 100%, but even beyond that. So I have immense respect and regard for her, not just for who she is as a person, but the kind of teacher she is, and just the kind of sadhaka she is. So I'm really very happy to be doing this with Tuheena. Tuheena has started Vahanam Isha Hatha Yoga in Ahmedabad, and she's been running that for a few months now. So we'll first hear from Tuheena now. I'll stop talking. Tuheena, if we'll start with a little bit about your journey. How did Isha happen for you, and then of course how did the teachers training program happen for you?
Right. Okay. So, Kanika, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me and in this beautiful discussion. And you have been a big source of my inspiration as well. The way I've seen you through the training, just with so much gentleness, you would go through the entire process with that much openness. You went through a lot of health crisis during the period of training, but the way you just went through it with a smile on your face. She'd have to take B12 shots, and then she would still do her sadhana. if she was not able to do it physically, she would close her eyes and visualize it. But she just completely went for it. So that was a huge, huge source of inspiration. So thank you so much for just being there. And other than that, the way you have taken teaching as a process and the way how dedicatedly you've given your life to it, that is something that inspires, I think, not only me, but every ISHA Hatha Yoga teacher, you know. Um, my journey with yoga happened by accident. To be very honest, I was never interested in yoga. The word yoga would just scare me. I used to find it very boring. Um, but a lot of time, my parents would tell me that you should do yoga. My parents have been doing yoga for quite many years, on and off, different kinds of yoga. But nothing really appealed me. Uh, but what made me gravitate towards it is that when my mother's health went down, and she was diagnosed with certain disease, and at that point, I could see that um, she had a choice. She had a choice to live or not to live, and she chose life. And she was able to make it happen because she was initiated. She had started doing certain Kriya Yoga, uh, certain Kriya Yoga, and a little bit of Hatha Yoga, the basics, Upa Yoga that comes as part of Shambhavi. And before my eyes, I could see that.
My tripod's broken, so it's like a makeshift arrangement that I've got. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So I could see, just in matter of few months, my mom's health really improved, and she was able to move, she was able to talk, she used to, was able to start doing Zumba. I had seen her
Wow.
at a place where she was not even able to move from her bed properly, and all of this just happened quite rapidly considering the gravity of the disease that she had. And that really made me think, that maybe there is something more to yoga than what I understand. And I was very intrigued. And then I immediately went for inner engineering program, and I did a residential course at the ashram. And I went there with a lot of reservations. There was openness, but still, like you have this thing that what if this is a cult, and they're like these people, and why they're always smiling, and it's just like why they're wearing white, and all these questions I had. And I sat there, a little very closed off. But I think in couple of hours, everything just dropped. And I became part of that process. I was just so involved. And I think after I was initiated, I was just so overwhelmed and taken aback by the entire experience of it that I was like, okay, there is something to it. There's something to life that I still haven't discovered and I've still not understood. And here I have found a tool to, take that journey inward. And that's how it started. I didn't complete my mandala, I'll be honest. I didn't complete it. I was working as a cinematographer at that time, and I was also a little lazy. My lifestyle was not the best. It was there was nothing yogic about my lifestyle at all, the way it was before. But again, a year passed. And I think it hit me again where I was like, I can't, I cannot. Once I have tasted, once you've tasted what it could be, you can't pretend for too long that it doesn't exist, So I think that was it, After a year, I think I was just like, okay, I need to revisit. I need to just discover more that's happening. And from within, there was this strong feeling that I should just go for teachers training program, and that to ISHA ashram. And that sounded even ridiculous in my head because I have never done yoga in my life. I'm not flexible at all. And here is a part of me which is just bursting with this thought that that's what I should be doing. And never had that much clarity in my life before. So it was just, I think I discussed it with my parents. They were also a little surprised, like, beta, do you want to speak to a therapist? Maybe that'll help. like, no, perhaps I should just, I thought to take it seriously, maybe I should join a Isha Hatha Yoga class and, just do it. So after I'd applied for my training, is when I learned Surya Shakti and Angamardana. These two were the first practices that I learned. It broke my body completely. But after I did like one cycle of Surya Shakti, just one cycle of Surya Shakti, I just felt a certain kind of vibrancy. And since then, it was just like there's no going back. This is it, and I just came to training that way. So this was my journey to teachers training program that happened in
Wow,
2017.
wow, amazing. So this was in early 2017 that you decided to apply for the teacher training
Right.
program. Yeah.
Yes.
You want to talk a little bit about
January
the
13 to be
application?
precise.
Oh, lovely.
I
You,
remember.
it was Lodi. Is that Lodi? I'm not sure.
I don't know. It was my friend's birthday. That's how I remember. Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about the application process. How was it for you? The interview
Hmm.
process. I've spoken about this in a podcast I did recently with Vaisakh
Mm-hmm.
Anna. And I spoke about how the applicate now for me, someone like me, I had no idea about Isha when I decided to do the teacher training program. I hadn't even done
Yeah.
inner engineering at that time.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was mainly to do a teachers training program. It sort of just happened, and so the reason I did inner engineering was to do the
Mm.
teachers training program because it was mandatory. So I remember
Correct.
before that
Correct.
when the whole application process was happening. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd already sent the essay that you're supposed to write, like the statement of
Yeah.
purpose, the application, and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And I had an interview call, the interview call with Ryan Anna, and
Oh,
I
me
remember,
too.
and I remember that interview itself was so beautiful that I was like, this
Yeah.
feels so right. And I hadn't
Yeah.
interacted with any Isha person before this. It was just emails
Mm-hmm.
to schedule and apply.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so
Mm-hmm.
touched by just the way these people would communicate. Like, the emails they would write, it would be Namaskaram, Pranam. I'd never experienced
Right.
anything like that. And it just felt so
Yeah.
gentle and so beautiful. And
Yeah.
the interview process that I happened to have with Ryan was so lovely. It went over. It was for, I think, almost 2 hours long. And it was such a beautiful interview that at every step
Yeah.
I felt like this is the right choice for me to make. So for people who ask a lot of times that do you think I should do the teachers training program, I just want to say something here that it'll nobody other than you can make that decision or give you advice about that.
Definitely.
And it would be very
Mm.
unfair for Tuheena or for me to say that yes, I think you should do the teachers training program, because
Correct.
it's a very intensive program. It requires substantial investment of time, money. You're investing essentially 5 months of your life in this. So I genuinely feel that it should be something that is on you alone to take that decision. Of course, in terms of sharing our experiences and sharing whatever information we have, we're very happy to do that. But that actual decision, I would say, don't ask anyone. It should be your decision to take
Yeah.
that. Like Tuheena said that she took that call that she wanted to do it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm just going off track a little. So yeah, Tuheena,
Mm.
continue with what you were saying, the application process for you.
So the application